Gonna live a little bit earlier for book club, but we're going to be chatting about The Snow by Caroline B Cooney with the tagline, "Outside she would freeze, inside she would die." So I've just gone live just a little bit earlier just to do intros. So we've got the brilliant New York Times bestselling author Grady Hendrix joining us, whose new book, Witchcraft Away with Girls, is absolutely fantastic. I got this edition with these like gorgeous sprayed edges from, I think it was Black Crow Books. And yeah, so I couldn't resist the spread. So yeah, this is a really good book. I was crying by the end of it. And I do have the American cover as well, because I just couldn't resist a lava lamp hand. So yeah, so do check that out. That's Grady's newest book, but you'll know him as well from Horror Store, My Best Friend's Exorcism, We Sold Our Souls. The list goes on. How to Sell a Haunted House, Paperbacks from Hell. So yes, and Grady is no stranger to our book club. We've previously talked about washer dryer deaths with Homecoming Queen, the transportation of bees, and other things like Jungle Prison Camp with the claw. And last year we talked about the fog, where we first met the evil Shevvingtons. Don't like the Shevvingtons. So yeah, so I'm going to see if Grady's around and I'll add Grady in. But it's been so good. Yeah, Jungle Prison Camp. If you go back and watch that chat, or if you was there, if you know, you know. Hi guys, thanks everyone for joining. Right, I'm just going to see if I can add Grady in, and we'll get straight into the chat. As many comments as I can. It's always like seeing everyone's comments as well, see what you thought about the snow. But yeah, so The Snow is obviously a trilogy. So we've got The Fog. Hi Grady.
Hey,
Hello.
how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Oh, are you still there? Have you gone? Are you still there? I
Still
don't
there.
know. Oh, you're
Still
still
here.
here. You're still
I was
there.
just checking my earbuds, making sure they
Oh,
were
thank
attached.
you. So I was just saying, last year we read The Fog, and we met those evil Shevvingtons for the very, very first time. So
Evil or
evil.
misunderstood? I don't know.
Well, I have to say, well, we'll get to it, but I have to say, I doubted a little bit at the end of The Snow. So we'll get into that. I
Mm.
was a little bit like, oh. So yeah,
Well,
definitely.
I got to say I appreciate this. Well, let's get started. I don't want to talk too much before we start going through the
Oh
book.
no. Oh, that's fine. I thought you'd be in your new emerald green ski suit today, so you look like a
Um,
Christmas tree, but...
no, I prefer my all yellow one that makes me look like a daffodil.
Oh, there was such vivid imagery there. We
Oh
love it.
yeah.
So I will do like a little intro to The Snow. And obviously this one, the third book in the trilogy, is The Fire as well, which I've resisted rereading on this occasion, just so that I didn't give spoilers away, because I think when we did The Fog I might have accidentally given a spoiler for The Snow away.
Really?
So yeah, I think I
Yeah.
mentioned about the sun by accident.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all adults. What's spoilers?
Yeah, these things happen. So obviously in The Snow, winter has come. Mr. and Mrs. Shevvington have nearly succeeded in fully destroying Anya even. And now the Shevvingtons have set their sights, on Dolly, trusting Dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
poor
very bright,
Dolly.
Dolly. Actually, well, is she bright? Is she bright or is she not?
I think she's brighter than maybe people give her credit for, because it's all about her all the time.
Well, I think maybe she's book smart, but emotionally
Mm.
illiterate.
Yeah. That's a good one, definitely.
What's the cover of your snow look like? I've got this janky 90s cover. Oh, yours is way
Yeah,
better.
I've got
Yeah.
your copy. I've got
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
This is the one that I brought when we met up at
Yeah.
Nottingham. This is the one I brought along with that one up there. But there's also like a weird UK cover that we got of like Christina like lying
Ooh.
blissfully, looking a bit
Yeah. My
scared.
cover for Fire is the same janky. Also, they've taken out the articles, right? It went from the snow
Yeah,
and the fire to snow.
yeah. So I
And
think
did they retitle the fog? Fog?
yeah, so in the early 2000s, I believe they retitled them. I think Scholastic did it, maybe as like a rebrand. And then it carried on into when they released them under the Kindle brand as well. They kept it just Snow, Fog, Fire, or Fog,
Yeah.
Snow, Fire.
Yeah. Although I just discovered this one belongs to the St. Dominic Catholic School in Lindsay, Ontario.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
those Catholics learning about their gaslighting.
They had good taste. But I did find out as well, these covers were reused as like German editions for R.L. Stein
Oh,
books. Yeah, so like I want to say this one, I think it was used for something for like Halloween party or Halloween night or
uh,
something like that.
uh,
And I was like, oh,
uh,
how interesting that the same cover art got used. So it wasn't individual to Caroline B Cooney, unfortunately. Sad.
uh,
So Christina tries to protect Dolly whilst also trying to bring Anya out of her desperate isolation. The Shevvingtons just are continuing to work to destroy Christina's reputation, to make her schoolmates, even her parents, think that she's crazy. So continuing on that old theme from the first book. And there's also a giggle.
a giggler.
A giggler coming from the basement or the cellar. There's also unused guest rooms that seem to echo the personalities of potential previous victims of the Shevvingtons. A mysterious briefcase that Christina is obsessed with, and rightly so.
Yeah,
Rightly
they get a
so.
lot of mileage out of that
They
briefcase.
do. And Christina now fancies Blake. So Blake
I
was.
thought she sort of had a crush on Blake in Snow and the Fog.
Oh, did
Also,
you?
I thought she really
Oh.
liked Blake, but she knew Blake was Anya's. But like when
Uh,
they started, I thought when they teamed up to try to help Anya, she had sort of a
had a
funny feeling for
little
Blake. Yeah,
crush. But now
yeah,
it's like full on. She
full on.
loves him. He's going to save the day.
She's a
Which,
seventh
yeah,
grader now, you know?
yeah. But Christina is granite and will not be defeated, so she won't let those Shevvingtons get to her. Woohoo! So do you? There's a lot of like recap in this book for the first book. Do you appreciate that in like
Oh yeah, it didn't
trilogies or
bother me. I
duologies?
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it was fine. Like I'm not going to read them all in one
No.
sitting, so I'm fine with it. Yeah,
I'm terrible. Like I have a terrible memory sometimes, and
yeah.
like I need that, and I did need it, and I was
Well,
like,
also,
oh,
if you don't need it, you can skim it. That's the nice thing about
yeah,
books.
that's so true. Yeah. I just saw someone said Sharon said my copy of the Snow belongs to Miss James.
Ah.
Yeah, I love finding like little things in books like that. Um,
Well, I was going to say, the thing I like about the snow is I feel like I know what you're going to do when we get off this chat. You are going to have a midnight fashion show and drink hot chocolate before retiring to your suite because that's what like English ladies do.
that's it. You've got
Yeah,
me. That's exactly what I
yeah.
was planning.
According to Mrs. Shevvington, that is what all English ladies do.
It's just standard,
Fashion show,
Yeah,
hot
fashion show.
chocolate, retire to your
Yeah.
suite.
My
Yeah,
husband's like well excited.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Mrs. Shevvington has a very strong view on what us
English ladies
British.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And I
yeah.
like that I'm called a lady for a change
I
as
know.
well.
Oh,
So there we
well,
go.
you're fancy.
I know that's it. I have to put my
Although
little
I,
pinky out when I'm drinking.
although I will say, judging by the large number of books behind you, you are risking a lot of your health.
Wow.
What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sedentary and you might need dancing lessons.
That's it.
I love in this how much the Shevvingtons are angry and concerned that Dolly reads books so much.
Yeah.
And
it's
everyone
like,
is. Michael and
yeah,
Benji are like, yeah, you do read too much. Not even Christina reads. Christina doesn't like books either.
yeah. They really do like lay into her over the
Yeah.
book reading. I'm sure Mr. Shevvington says something like she's gonna get dementia or
Yeah.
something like that
Oh, completely.
down the
And she
line.
might. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, you never know. That's
Yeah.
probably why I've got no memory.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh dear, but poor Dolly having to suffer those dancing lessons.
I
So
know.
Dolly was kind of like a new addition. I
Yes.
know we briefly met her in The Fog, but she was like, you know, a main
Yeah.
character in here. What did you think? Then I know we alluded that she might be misunderstood, but what
Yeah.
did you think?
Well, I like Dolly. I mean, Dolly is a lot. She's
Mm.
plays the baby Jesus every year in the Nativity,
And she
which I
got
kind of
dropped
like.
on her head.
Yes, exactly. She was dropped there. Well, I think they mentioned that in the first book too. But what is it
Oh,
they
bless
say
her.
in this about? Oh yeah, she thought her playing the baby Jesus was more interesting than a baby Jesus that's a baby or Jesus dying on the cross. Like, Dolly's like, you know how to plus up Jesus? Make it me. Which I really good for Dolly.
Well, yeah, but can you imagine, like, you know, just before she came to the islands, like, and what did they do? The Christmas, so they went back to Burning Fog Isle for Christmas. It's mentioned, probably just so Dolly could play
Well,
baby
and it's a
Jesus again.
very small pageant,
Mm.
right? It's like there's 5 kids in it. So
Yeah,
Mary, Joseph, baby Jesus, and another
yeah.
kid who has to play all the wise men. Yeah, it's well. Also, I love one of the great things about the Shevvingtons, and I'm so amazed this hasn't been made into a movie. But they're so good. I love that Dolly goes to dance classes, like you were just saying. They
Yeah,
make her forcibly enroll her in dance classes, which she's scared of.
yeah.
She's in the dance class with they enroll her in the advanced dance class, even though she's never danced before, because they're like, oh no, you'll catch up. It's all got older girls in it. She can't keep up.
Mm,
And I
mm.
love I think it's Mrs. Yeah, she says, Dolly, that's wonderful. I'm so proud of you. If you get nothing else out of dance class, you've learned a very important lesson. Sometimes your best it just isn't enough, and you have to accept being ordinary. Oh, I just love that.
Oh, I
Dolly's not
love that.
ordinary.
No, bless her. Billy's put, I did enjoy Dolly. She had quite a lot of spark and gave that bratty little sister
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, also though she is a heartless little
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
she's super mean. Like she's there for 5 seconds, and the Shevvingtons show the slightest interest to her, and suddenly she's like, "Yeah, screw Christina. Christina's always yarning. The
Christina who?
Shevingtons are the best." Yeah, and she has a very touchy relation. They treat her like a little doll. They pick her up and they stroke her and they hold her. It's not
Yeah.
sexual, but it's
Mm,
very like they treat her like a pet. It's very
yeah.
weird, and she
It
likes it.
it really is like that Dolly is their pet. It really
Yeah,
does come across like that.
I mean,
And she's
she's
just like lapping it up. She loves it.
loves it. And
Mm,
I mean, she's literally being groomed, not in a sexual way, but like they are grooming her.
yeah.
They're brushing her hair and
Yeah.
wiping her and wiping her face and all this stuff.
Mm,
And she loves
yeah.
it.
And they're trying to turn her against Christina. I mean, it didn't take much. Like, it didn't take much
No,
persuading.
you show Dolly, but you slow down from a fast run around Dolly, and she's like, "Oh, you love me." Oh,
Yeah, that's
oh,
true.
yeah. No one else exists but me.
That's true. I,
But yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just saw Sharon said, don't forget Dolly saved Christina. So with the whole ski accident,
Oh,
she was like,
right.
I took photos. I was there. And they all had Dolly in them, I think.
Which is amazing. Well, but I also feel like, this book has the problem that a lot of middle books in a
Mm,
trilogy have. Same with,
mm.
I mean, Empire Strikes Back is a little bit similar. I mean, well, maybe that's an exception, but we're can't really do too. There's a little bit of running in place,
Yeah.
and I actually think to this book's credit, what it does so well is A, Dolly's just a joy,
Mm,
and B, Anya. Anya
yeah.
is Anya has more of an arc than anyone in this
Mm,
story.
Yeah, and especially as well, like she's not so prominent in this middle book. She's there, which is almost like, you know, like symmetry to how she is. She's like a shell of
Yeah,
herself, so she's almost like a shell in the book kind of thing.
yeah,
And I just loved how they did use Anya. Especially when they go to the football game or the game, and she's so excited. She's figured out she's little bit more clued up than the Shevvingtons gave her credit for as well. That she
yeah,
figured out to get Blake to write to the laundry mat, I think it is the laundrette.
yeah,
And she's so excited, and you just see that glimpse of her old self until she bumps into Mr.
yeah,
Shevvington, and she just shrivels back. I thought that was so powerful.
yeah.
That
Well, but
whole
also,
scene.
yeah, but also there's a lot of stuff with Anya. I mean, she starts out such a shell of herself, and
Mm,
like she was in the end of Snow, and then by the
yeah,
end, she's like, Blake sticking up for her. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I
yeah.
really Anya, even though she doesn't get a lot of stage time, I was like, good for Anya.
Mm. And even like she obviously doesn't get a new ski suit like Christina didn't from the Shevvington. So she's got like that old ripped up one, and even like Christina just giving her the ski suit, even though Christina's got a bit of a thing for Blake, but she wants Anya to be,
Yeah,
you know, in Blake's eyes the most beautiful, and to try and get her out and help her.
yeah.
And I just was like, oh, Christina,
Christina's a
bless
good
you.
kid.
She
Bless. Um,
is.
Now, is there an order you want to go through this, or are we just sort of
Will
freestyling? Okay.
freestyle. That's what we're
Yeah.
good at.
Well, okay. Well, so because I was going to say, the crux of the book is right. It's Dolly
Mm,
arriving and them trying to save Dolly, Christina trying to save Dolly from the Shevvingtons, and she's got Anya slung around her neck like a
yeah.
albatross weighing her down. And there's the giggler in the basement. There's like the basement gimp,
Mm, yeah.
and and so, but I really feel like one of the things that's all over this book, two things.
Mm,
One is hand warmth. Hand warmth is a really serious concern in
yeah.
this book. In the first book, you had the whole thing with Christina. Her mother like gives her mittens covered in snowflakes, and she's like, I don't need mittens covered in snowflakes. I like practical mittens. And then in this book, she has to crawl across that bridge where she has to
Oh,
cling to the metal,
yeah.
and
Mm,
she's got the mittens with the snowflakes that get shredded on it.
yeah.
And then she gets more practical
Mm,
mittens after that. But also, Vicky or Gretchen? No, it's Vicky and her sweater collection. That
oh,
takes up a
the
big part of the middle
sweater
of the book. Yeah,
collection.
34 sweaters.
Whoa. I mean, I could say probably I've got a lot of pajamas,
Yeah.
but not that many sweaters.
Well, and in case people are wondering, so Mrs. Shevington and the Shevingtons are great. I mean, they really do weaponize what every kid is scared of. And
Mm.
Miss Shevington, because she's the English teacher, she can call you to the front of the class and make you read what you've written. And I
Oh,
have a
yeah.
mortifying incident where that happened to me
Mm.
is in fourth grade,
Oh,
fourth
wow.
or fifth, where they asked us to write something private, and then the teacher started reading them out, and they
Oh.
weren't, and she began to make fun of mine in front of the whole class.
Oh,
It was
that's
like
awful.
what your wishes for the future were. She
Mm.
said I sounded insane.
Oh.
And So Miss Shevington, that's what she does to the kids.
Mm.
She has them write things down and then mocks them, makes them read it out loud and then mocks it. And so she has them write down their January daydreams. And Christina's is she wants to burn her winter clothes because
Mm.
she's like, I'm so tired of wearing the same sweaters and jackets. And then Vicky is like, do you wear the same sweaters? I've got 34
I've got
sweaters. Like I
34.
and she's like, can we take up a collection for Christina to help her buy a few more sweaters? And Miss Shevington's like, that is such a generous idea. People like you make the world go round. But girls like Christina from the island are too proud to accept help and charity.
Yeah.
So it would just be a waste of time. It's so good.
Oh, I
Um,
do love that whole scene. And Gretchen and Vicky are just so, so awful. Um,
but Gretchen has an Elvis phone.
oh,
I thought was really, I don't quite know what that is.
that was
I
pretty
assume it's a phone.
cool.
I guess it's a phone shaped like Elvis.
I'm guessing maybe when it rings, it goes like, or something,
oh,
or
maybe.
like hound dog or something like that.
I'm
You
just
never
looking up to
know.
see if there's a Elvis phone.
Oh yeah, I didn't think to look
I'm
that up,
just looking. Oh, it is.
It
Oh my
is.
goodness. Yeah, it's a thing. So apparently, from a company called Telemania, and it's an Elvis musical phone. Yeah,
No.
collectors are selling them. Yeah, it's hold on, Elvis phone Telemania. This looks like it was a bit of pop culture at that time when I did not was not aware of.
Oh
Oh man, it could
wow.
be so it could be a couple. So it could be oh, this one won't go large enough. So it could be one shaped like
Yeah.
Elvis, where he's like dancing and you pick it up, or it
Oh.
could be one that plays Elvis songs for a ringtone,
Oh,
like you were just
see.
saying. It could be one or
Yeah.
the other. But apparently, late
Yeah.
80s, early 90s, they were commemorative items to own.
Wow.
Like people want,
So a
yeah,
bit like the Garfield phone. So there used to be like
yeah,
a
Mickey
Garfield phone,
Mouse,
Mickey
yeah,
Mouse. Yeah. Oh
yeah, yeah.
wow. I
Except
just
more
thought this was
dignified.
made up.
Well, because
Oh,
that's what are they? That's when they have to write the essay on their greatest possession, right? Is it
yeah.
possession? Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, my Elvis, my private
Yeah.
phone line."
Oh, bless her.
I
But
know.
I did love Gretchen and Vicky, just as like they kind of, for me, they kind of like gave me a bit of a like break from all of the intenseness of
Mm,
what the Shevvingtons are doing.
yeah,
So like any scenes with Vicky and Gretchen in, I was like just howling with laughter. Um,
yeah. Well, they're
especially,
so relentlessly evil.
yeah,
Yeah,
they are. They're evil, but in like
a
a
joyful
little,
way.
yeah, in a joyful way, kind of. But I love the bit at the slumber party, where I think it's Katie. So Christina says something about horror stories, or let's do horror stories. So Gretchen or Vicky screams, "Horror stories! I love them!" And then poor Katie, who got fat shamed
I know.
by Mrs. Shevvington, says, "You are one," and I was like, "Yes."
Well, also poor Katie has bad skin too. She can't.
Oh,
And Christina,
Katie.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Christina tries to make an attempt to be more of a friend of Katie,
Yeah,
and like, and then but then that seems to sort of fall by the wayside.
yeah, yeah. We don't really hear. She kind of just goes into the background then after
Yeah.
that.
After the
Yeah,
ski trip, she goes into the
yeah.
background, definitely.
And
Um,
even like before the ski trip, Gretchen and Vicky are saying how they laughed at someone whilst they were skiing because two kids broke their legs on the bunny slope and they laughed so hard. And I was
laugh.
like, oh, how could they?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Let's talk about the giggler a little bit because,
Yeah,
basement wetsuit gimp is always a strong look. So what do you
yeah.
think of the giggler?
So at first, because I kind of like remembered what the reveal was and ended up being, but at first I was a little bit like, if I didn't know, I'd think Christina was imagining it, and I feel a bit bad saying that considering what she goes through, but I
Another
thought it,
gaslighter.
yeah, I
Gaslighting
thought it was like a
Christina.
sinister, another sinister vibe in already a sinister house that, but how did he keep hiding? He hid behind like a fake wall or something, I think it says at the
Yeah.
end,
So yeah, so
which is just
and
weird.
and it's yeah, so it's the giggler is hold on, I just want to make sure I get it right. Um, because you they describe exactly who he was. Hold on. Um, because I'm just looking for at the end for the description of him. Oh, here he is. Okay. So hold on. God, I should have written down the page. Um, it's okay. So she's there. She goes. So he's got a secret room in the
Ah,
basement.
that was
Um,
it.
yeah.
Because she
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
tried
here it
looking
is. Yeah.
before and couldn't find it.
And it's the son. So it's the show that he's a crazy person and he used to be in an institution, but they let him out because the psychiatrist didn't think he was dangerous anymore. And so he only likes dark, hidden places, so he lives in the cellar. So, and they feed him They feed him in the cellar.
Yeah.
And they claim he had an apartment in town, but he lives in a
No.
secret compartment in the cellar. No. And
No.
then there seems to be a very slick passage from his hidden compartment to the cliffside.
Yeah, because obviously in the fog we get a glimpse of wetsuit guy, brown wetsuit
Yeah,
guy, which
brown
is
wetsuit.
obviously him coming out of his little hidey hole.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole description, like, I mean, why was he in the wetsuit? Like, I have so many questions. Like,
Well, I'm
is that
assuming he's in
part
the
of his
wetsuit. I'm
hiding
assuming it's because he's
thing?
cold.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe. Yeah, that's a point.
Although a wetsuit doesn't work unless you're wet.
Mm, yeah,
Like you can't, like it
yeah,
doesn't keep you warm if you're just
yeah,
walking around on land. So
yeah.
maybe it's just he likes the feel of, like, he's like a little rubber fetishist. Like he likes the feel of a wetsuit.
That's it. But I find it so sinister that there's an extra person in that house living in the cellar, in the basement, that's just got this sinister edge. Like, the Shevvingtons really don't care about putting those kids in danger, really. I
Well,
mean,
they
they're
want to.
hiding him in the cellar.
Yeah, no, but they want to put those kids in danger.
Yeah, definitely. I saw Autumn's put the giggler creeped me out. The way I picture him is so creepy. But that's the thing, Caroline B Cooney just paints such an image of like of what he would look like, what he's doing down there, the smell of him, like, because they say he's got smelly fishy fingers,
Smelly,
which
fishy fingers. Yeah,
which you
I was
don't
just
really want.
no, no. And
No.
she has a real revulsion towards being touched by
Yeah.
him. Like Christina's fear of him is all about those rubbery, fishy fingers touching her. It's called
Yeah.
frogging.
Oh.
When someone lives in your house and you don't know it.
Oh.
Phrogging, frogging.
Oh, wow. Didn't
Yeah.
know it was an actual like term for it
Oh,
either.
yeah.
Oh.
Um, I wrote this book about martial arts movie, like kung fu movies coming
Yeah.
to America. And in the 80s, there was the big, I think y'all had it too, but the big ninja craze where everyone was dressing
Yeah.
up like ninjas and running around stuff.
My brother
And
was obsessed.
yeah,
Obsessed.
and there was a guy who, in the Northeast here, he dressed as a ninja and lived in the crawl space. I no the space between the walls
Oh.
of his girlfriend's house. So she broke up with him, and so he moved into her house where she lived with her family because they were like, I think they were just out of high school, and he lived in the walls. And eventually, he emerged and killed the
Oh
entire family except for
my
one of them.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah. But
Wow.
that's frogging. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
like the
See,
Shevvington son.
point horror can be educational.
Exactly.
uh, Karen said,
But
is it really a point horror book without some gaslighting?" So true.
it's all gaslighting. Well, Caroline Cooney is a really good writer. I
Yeah.
mean, I got to give her, and this is pre-Face on the Milk Carton, which I think was her big
Yeah.
breakout book, or was
Yeah.
that?
I
Yeah,
think so. Over
yeah,
here, I think definitely.
yeah. But these were pre, and
Mm,
she's
mm,
really good. And I find these books so terrifying because they're
mm.
so relentlessly real. Like, this is what adults do to kids.
Yeah.
They don't believe them. They call them liars. They say they're making things up and they shame and humiliate them.
Mm,
Like, this is just that being weaponized.
yeah. And I mean, you've got that whole scene as well where Christina is like begging her mum. So I think it's after the whole burning of the clothes scene, when Mrs. Shevvington's allowed her to phone her mum, and she's like literally begging her, please believe me, please believe me. And they just won't.
Yeah.
And that's just so scary, especially for a child.
Well, yeah. And also, so the Shevvingtons, when they hear her fantasy, her January
Mm.
daydream about burning her
Oh,
clothes, while she's out one day, they burn her clothes.
yeah.
And everyone knows. Benji knows, Michael knows, Dolly knows, and Anya knows that she wasn't at
Mm.
the house. They all know
Yeah.
she wasn't there. And they all say, well, you did it.
Mm.
And Benji and Michael get mad at her and they're like, well, the Shevvingtons say you did it, so you must have done it. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's nightmare fuel.
That is like
Yeah.
so cruel,
Yeah.
so cruel.
So mean.
Mm. I was just going to say, I do think as well, talking about the strength of Caroline Cooney's writing, I do feel like she uses clothes as like a class divide
Yeah,
as well. She did it in the fog and she
yeah.
did it in here as well. So like obviously in the fog we talked about the catalogue main kind of clothes and that Blake wore. And then
And his
obviously
watch, they cost as much as a
yeah.
lobster boat.
Yeah, very expensive.
Yeah.
But when they put Anya in an old antique maid's costume to wear to school, I think it is. So the long black cotton dress and the starched lacy white apron,
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Well, they put her in that so she'll be serving the girls at the sleepover, right?
Oh,
They
yes, of
rent
course.
it so she dresses up as
Yeah.
a maid to serve her. Because there's the great line early in this where it's what did they say about that? Oh yeah, this winter Anya had ceased to be a teenager boarding for high school and had become a servant, good for laundry
Mm.
and dishes. I mean, it's
Oh.
so. But yeah, and then Benji gets a funny feeling in his bathing suit area when
Mm.
he sees Anya dressed up like a maid. He's like, I think it's neat. He like gets really excited.
He really does. Oh dear. I saw.
But this whole book is about class, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole book is predicated on these island kids being poorer than the
Mm,
kids on the mainland, you know?
yeah.
Um, and you've got Blake and Anya, and, all the kids have to stand out is either their looks or their brains or
Mm.
their personalities, because they don't have 34 sweaters. And so it's
Or
like
an
if you take
Elvis phone.
Yo, we're an Elvis fan. So if you take those things from them, what they got,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it is very class.
Yeah.
And there was something with Anya. What was it? Oh, because Blake's parents feel like they have to protect Blake from Anya,
Mm,
that she's going to drag him down.
yeah.
It's I don't know. There's something so. I mean, I think class is all through this
Yeah.
thing.
No, definitely. And even like, Mrs. Shevvington loves to bring it up as well, like how she's doing these island kids a
Oh,
favor.
yeah,
She just
reaching out
loves
for them, yeah,
she
supporting them.
loves
They
it. Yeah,
need
she loves it.
extra. Yeah. Well, it's the close because also so Christina, are you gonna call her Christina or Chrissy? I don't
Oh,
like. She doesn't like Chrissy.
no.
Um, yeah. So Christina, even though her friends call her, like, even though Dolly's allowed to call her Chrissy, and so
Yeah.
is Anya and Blake. But we'll keep it Christina. Um, she has that moment too. I'm just trying to find it. Oh yeah, where Jonah, her boyfriend, her sensible boyfriend,
Yeah,
um, his
Jonah.
mom gives her a brand new bright yellow ski suit, and then
Mm,
she, like you said, gives it to Anya, so
yeah.
Anya will look good for Blake. But like, she's so proud of it. It's
Oh,
painful.
it is so painful. And that moment where Jonah's mom, I love Jonah's mom. She was so good with all of the
Yeah,
kids in the neighbourhood. Like she'd have them all round the house,
yeah,
having snowball fights and doing them little hot chocolates and stuff. But when she gives her that ski suit, it's such a touching moment as well. And the fact that Jonah had told his mom as well, um,
yeah.
he cared more about Christina than what I think he portrayed or came across, considering Christina like socked him one at the beginning as well.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Also, though, it's funny. There's a whole thing in this. Like, Christina's so needy.
Mm,
Like, as much as she's like, I'm granite, I'm made of granite like the islands. I don't need anything or anyone. I'm strong.
yeah.
Anytime anyone shows the slightest affection towards her, she like falls apart. Like when her
Mm.
parents show up and she like wedges herself
Oh,
in the seat between them, and like is like leaning up against them.
yeah.
She's so hungry for that snowsuit because it's new and it's pretty.
Mm,
She's so desperate for everything.
yeah.
And there's a thing with Jonah that I think is so real
Mm,
and I can't remember what it comes after, where she kisses him too much. No, she kisses him. She definitely
yeah, she
kisses him at
does
some point.
kiss him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
she
but
does.
there's also a moment where I'm just trying to find it. Um, Dolly reading too much. Oh yeah. Oh, where after the slumber party, um, Christina's miserable because everyone's making fun of her the next day for falling down the cellar stairs. And she's
Yeah.
like, the giggler touched me. And Jonah's the only person who believes her on the giggler.
Oh,
And she throws herself at him and hugs
yeah.
him and like weeps on his shoulder. And it's too much for him.
Yeah.
It's like, and she knows that. She's like, we're too young. I'm putting too much on him emotionally. And he like totally runs away.
Yeah,
But
he's
she's
totally
so,
embarrassed, isn't he,
yeah.
by it?
And they're just too young to
Yeah.
do that. You know, 13 is not the age where you dump your life problems on your
No.
ostensible boyfriend. And so it's just, I just love how desperate she is, how needy
Yeah.
she is.
She's just so desperate in that moment. Like, she's been through so much, you know, previously in what we read in The Fog, and then straight away, you know, in this, but she's going through so much, and just imagine having no one believe you at all, and then that one person just gives that little bit of glimmer of hope.
And you screw it up by wanting it too
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but there's a lot of class stuff. There's a lot of like the emotional stuff. And you know, it's funny. Everyone gets sort of, even the bad people get their moment, because I know you're a big fan of that moment of Gretchen with the briefcase.
Yeah. Oh, Gretchen and the briefcase. So we've got all that whole like build up to that. There's something in the briefcase. Christina's sure of it, that it's like files of previous Shevvington victims. Like, do we think that is what is going to be in the briefcase?
I hope so. It would hurt too
so.
much for her to be obsessed with the briefcase. It just turns out to have his lunch in it, like a sandwich.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so we've got that whole build up. I mean, even to the point where the first time she tries to steal it, Christina leaves like a cloth or something in the window so she can break back into the school. I mean, that was some sharp thinking. And then you've got that whole scene then of like the giggler like being in the school. So he's obviously followed her. He's got into the school, and you've got that whole scene of him like trying to crush her under the bleachers. And I thought that was terrifying. That whole scene.
Totally.
Like, pitch black dark. She's just trying to get out. And then she ends up dropping it. But the second time,
accidentally, she doesn't even notice she dropped it.
she doesn't even realise until she gets back to the inn that, you know, she's dropped it. But the second time, when she cleverly does it in plain sight, in, you know, during the day, and then she's just saved Gretchen for Mrs. Shevvington, because Mrs. Shevvington kind of turned on Gretchen a little bit over the essay. And she bumped into Gretchen in desperation, saying, "Oh, please, you know, take this. It's got stuff in that I need. Take it." And Gretchen takes it back to the office. I was I gasped.
I know. But,
I was like, oh.
I was shocked. But one is, it was nice for Gretchen to have a hero moment. You know what I mean? Like, Gretchen, she's like, you stood up for me in class, because the Miss Shevvington had humiliated her in class about her private phone line and her Elvis phone. But then she actually saves Christina's butt, because even though she takes it back to the Shevvingtons' office, like, he burst in and is like, "Where's my?" She doesn't have it. And so he can't accuse her of stealing the briefcase because it's been returned. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, I mean, it's when she did that, I was like, oh no. But at the same time, she really did save Christina's butt.
Yeah, she did. I just saw Claire put, I was so shocked that Mrs. Shevvington picked on Gretchen. Yeah, there was kind of a little U-turn there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I wonder
well, you got to keep them in their place, you know.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, the trick to trick to gaslighting a class of adolescent children, 7th graders, is to be inconsistent with your punishments.
That's so true. Go on, you go.
No. I was just gonna say, so it's funny. I do also like Christina is annoyed by Anya, which I really like. Like, she's annoyed by how out the lunch is. And I remember, I love the part where Anya is trying to write a letter to Blake, and and Anya's like, you know, used to memorize Shakespeare, used to be so smart, and now you're just empty. And she describes Anya's voice as a thin, dense, distant whine, like her life. And and then she tries to write a letter. And so Anya's letter, she says, "Listen to what I've written so far. Dear Blake, it's me, Anya. I miss you. How does that sound, Chrissy?" It did not sound like a girl who memorized Shakespeare. Like, she's so sick of Anya being so
Yeah.
pathetic.
She comes out with such some good one-liners as well. Chrissy does. She's brilliant. Oh
Well, and it's
dear.
interesting too, like, I don't want to be a jerk, but you read these books, and then you read
Mm.
like Richie Tankersley Cusick or R.L.
Yeah.
Stein, and their writing is on such a different
Mm.
level. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. Like Richie Tankersley Cusick, it does have some stuff I really like, but
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
really dislike R.L. Stein as a writer. I think he's a great icon. I think he's a nice
Mm.
guy. I think
Yeah.
he really did a lot in terms of filling this horror niche for kids
Yeah.
of a certain age. But I think his writing is terrible. And you compare him to Caroline Cooney, and do you have any idea why Caroline Cooney was just writing on such a different level, like what her background was or anything?
I'm not entirely sure. I know before this, because this was kind of her like breakout into like the horror genre for
Mm-hmm.
teens at the time. And before this, I know she was writing a lot of romance and things
Okay.
like that. So I'm just guessing they gave her like this opportunity to write horror, and she just went with it. That's what I'd like to think. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
because she does it so well. Like I didn't appreciate her enough when I was a teen because I
oh
loved
no.
like the
Yeah.
R.L. Stein, the Richard Tankersley and I didn't appreciate her enough. But as an adult reading it, I'm like, she's a genius.
Yeah. I mean, her lines Christina's talking about boarding and how they're boarding. She's like, boarding. It turned out to be a terrible word, flat and hard and full of splinters. I'm like, oh, so
Just
good.
so good, so
And like,
good.
and the book is, I mean, I think these books, The Fog and The Snow, I haven't read Fire yet, The Fire, but I think they're
Mm,
heavy. I
yeah.
mean, there's a moment towards the very end, like almost at the end, where Christina's like, I'm no longer sure that good triumphs over evil. I'm afraid evil will win. And on the one hand, taking that in isolation,
Mm,
it's pretty
mm,
cliched. Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah, but on the other hand, by the time you get to that point in the book,
Mm,
you really do believe that the Shevvingtons are truly evil. They're
yeah.
sadistic, they're
Mm,
cruel, they're
mm,
mean to people, and they're merciless to
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And
They
so
just
when you
don't stop.
know, and so when you get there, you're like, yeah,
Mm.
they're evil, and evil's gonna. As much as that sounds like a Hallmark greeting card kind of philosophy, it really, in the context of the book and where you are when it comes, you're like, yeah, like the
Mm.
whole moment where Ziegler is on the ski slope,
Oh,
and she realizes she's gotten on the trail with him. That would never work in a film because you
yeah.
would have to show him. But Caroline
Mm.
Cooney's really good at making that work on the page,
Yeah.
where it's snowy and she's got her head down and she's not
Mm.
looking and she gets on, and then you hear the giggler, and I mean that legit made my
Yeah.
skin crawl that moment where she realizes he's on, and then he pushes her off
He
and she
pushes
almost
her.
dies.
Yeah. And the thing is, she knows as soon as she gets onto the ski
Yeah,
lift.
ski lift.
Yeah, I was like, what's the word? As soon as she gets on the ski lift, she knows there's something wrong as well because it doesn't smell like Blake. So again,
Yeah,
like the senses kick in, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. But he literally pushes her off. And I saw Matthew put earlier, how did the giggler get to the ski slope? Because obviously he didn't come with the Shevvingtons.
in the trunk of their car, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
That's what I did. Either
He likes
clinging to the
dark
bottom.
spaces.
Yeah, he loves dark spaces. Either he clung to the bottom like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear, or he's in the trunk.
Oh dear, yeah, I love that. That whole taking them skiing, like as soon as it was mentioned in the book, I was like, this is not going to end well. And I'll be
Yeah,
honest, like I couldn't remember whether it was not going to end well for Dolly or Christina.
I thought
Um,
Dolly, but yeah,
Yeah, so all the way through, I thought it must be Dolly. My memory must be wrong, but yeah, it ended up being Christina, and it was just oh wow. And that whole scene when she wakes up and like the paramedics are all around her and in these
yeah,
orange vests, and oh dear, tragic.
yeah.
uh,
Well, it's funny. Also, one of the things that I think Caroline Cooney does so well, is a lot of these point horror books and sort of teen horror.
mm,
They, a lot of them, they, 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 they're always going skiing. And I think on the one hand, you go skiing because that was something you look forward to. There was always the promise of a church ski trip or a youth group ski trip, or, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it was always something exotic and big. So it's a part of your life at that age, but also
Mm.
it's such an easy place to have an accident and all this. So I usually, when
Yeah.
someone mentions skiing in a book like this, I'm like, oh, eye roll. But she pulls it off great. Like,
No,
she pulls it
she
off so
really
well.
does.
And there's
Yeah,
that
she
moment
really does.
where Christina's freaking out after she gets pushed off the lift, and she's
Mm.
freaking out. She's like, the Shevvingtons did this. And Joan, is it? No, it's Blake. Blake's like, calm down. He's
Yeah.
like, they want you to lose it. They're going to put you in an institution
Yeah.
when you lose it. And he's like, you've got to cry. And she manages to like hold
Mm.
on.
And he's so right in that moment, Blake is as well. He just calms her down. He's so right. And at that point, I was like, actually, I kind of like Blake. I wasn't really
Yeah.
like a huge fan, but like, yeah,
Stepped up in this
he
book.
did. He
He's
stepped
much
up.
better. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of stuff that they do, like that thing about evil and good, there's some moments where I think if this was a movie or something, where I'd be eye roll, just it's too much. But in the book,
Mm.
there's two moments that legit gave me pause. Like, one is the giggler on the ski lift, and I
Yeah.
did think the school thing was good.
Oh,
But then there's the
oh,
moment
yeah.
where Dolly is going on and on about how much she loves to read, and the Shevvingtons are like, a well-rounded young lady uses her body as well as her mind. You must become an athlete. You're reading too much. And she's like, I'd rather read about sports. And then Dolly says, I'm going to read in bed. I've always thought I would make an excellent invalid. I like bed. I like sheets and pillows. I'd lie there and read. And Mrs. Shevvington just softly says, perhaps you could have an accident.
I know.
And you're just like, and like, Christina's the only person who, like, then the Shevvingtons like smile at each other, and Christina's the only person who notices. And I'm like, that's so good.
Oh, it's so good, so good. But straight away, you're just so fearful for Dolly in that moment. And I love when, as well, Christina sneaks the books into the house that Dolly asked her
Yeah.
to get from the library. Mrs. Shevvington catches her, and so she throws the books, launches these 5 books at Mrs. Shevvington.
Well, and I have to imagine she throws them one at a time, and they make it very clear each one hits Mrs. Shevvington.
And
Like,
I was like,
yeah.
yeah!
And then she's like, what kind of house tells kids they can't read books?
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. But there's another moment later when they're about to have the slumber party, and they're
Oh.
like, oh, we can play games. And Dolly's like, what kind of games will we play? Mr. Shevvington stroked the silk scarf he had tied around his throat. A nice game for little girls is murder. We'll all
Oh.
hide, and I'll choose the victim, he said very softly.
Yeah.
Like, they're so good. I
They're
love the
just,
Shevvingtons. They're so evil.
it's like they're just that evil. Like, because I know I've had many comments saying, "Oh, they make me so frustrated. They make me so mad." And yeah, they make me so mad. But there's something about them that I like them because of how evil they are.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
in a
yeah,
book, especially for this time, the time this was written as well. They're just awful,
yeah.
awful people.
Well, and Christina talks about that early on, because she's like, I thought I was going crazy in book one, because like the
Mm,
poster would keep changing on the
yeah.
wall, and like Mr. Shevvington's eyes would change color, and no one noticed. And she's like, now I know they were just swapping the poster. And
Mm,
now I know he was just putting in contact lenses to change his eye color, but no one believed me because no one thinks adults do things like that. And
yeah.
it's like the Shevvingtons just like to fuck with you.
Mm,
And no one believes that an adult would fuck with a kid this way,
yeah.
like so maliciously, but they do. And that's how they get away with it. I mean, they're genius villains.
Yeah, definitely. I just saw April put she's got a favourite quote from the book. So the quote is, perhaps the most dangerous thing on earth is the person who always follows. What if you follow the wrong person or the wrong
Yeah.
idea? Oh,
Yeah.
just brilliant. Just
It's so good.
so
I
good.
know.
Yeah.
I'm just
Billy
seeing.
said as well, I love Caroline B Cooney's writing style. It's so dreamlike and eerie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It very much is. Well, and she does great stuff. Like she leads time really well. Like, there's that moment early on when, in the first chapter, I think, when Christina's in the
Mm,
basement and she encounters the
mm.
giggler in the dark, and then she realizes she can look at her digital watch,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like, and so she's staring. It's like 10:32 and 1 second, 10:32, like 10:32:01, 10:32:02,
Mm,
10:32:03. At 11:17:45, she knew she was alone. Like,
Oh,
it's such a nice jump. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just like, they're
yeah,
really good at that. They're really good. I mean, everything feels like it takes place in a fog. It sort of
yeah,
drifts around. It's not
yeah,
anchored. Yeah,
yeah. So
so good.
good.
And then they all
Um,
go to Power. Pizza
yeah,
Power sounds amazing.
sounds amazing. I need to go.
Oh, what was the thing? You pulled something out. It was a quote around Pizza Power about the worst words being "you're not invited."
Oh yeah. So let me see if I wrote it down. I'm sure I did. I always make far too many notes on these things. Let me have a look. But you won't be able to find it now. I'll have to try and share it after if I can't find it. But it was something to do with oh, here we go. I love the
Yeah.
line. I wasn't invited, Christina said. Was there a more terrible sentence in the world? Her heart ached, even her joints. And it's like, oh,
I
Christina.
know. Well, and that's something Caroline Cooney does really well. Like,
Mm,
is she doesn't overplay the stakes. The Shevvingtons aren't
mm,
serial killers. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like largely what the bad things that happen are humiliation,
Mm,
embarrassment, people calling you a liar, shame.
yeah.
But she makes those things feel huge to these
Mm,
kids because they do when you're the
yeah.
target of it. And she doesn't talk down to it. She's not like,
Mm,
oh, Christina will grow out of this and she won't feel ashamed one day. It's like she really is like, no, this is life or death when you're
yeah.
13 without
Yeah.
making that seem, without making the stakes being that high seem
Mm,
ridiculous. She doesn't
no.
patronize the kids, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, definitely. And then obviously the whole ending scene. So obviously Dolly goes missing.
Yeah.
We find out that we call it, say, the giggler, Mr. and Mrs. Shevvington's son, like kidnapped her from the house and then pushed her down like an icy slope. And Christina is that brave that she's already had a traumatic experience down in the cellar twice, because obviously at the slumber party she falls down the cellar again, and then at the
Yeah.
beginning
Yeah.
she goes exploring. That whole scene with when they're playing murder at
Yeah.
the slumber party. um so yeah, so she's that brave, she goes down there again because she's just got an inkling that Dolly might be down there.
Yeah.
So did you like the whole ending? I thought it was really dramatic.
Yeah. I thought it worked. I mean, and it's funny when she sees Dolly just sitting on the ledge getting ready to
Mm,
drown. It's so matter of fact. It's like, it's not like, oh, Christina, you were right. Dolly's like, oh, yeah, their insane son lives in the
yeah,
basement. I guess we never found him. Now we're going to die.
yeah,
Like, yeah, and to me, what was even better is the very end of the book, which is
mm,
like, everyone's like, the Shevvingtons are heroes. The
yeah.
Shevvingtons convince everyone, even though they did all of this and they're caught doing
Mm,
it, they convince everyone that they're heroes. And there's the great bit at the end, like where Dolly's like, Christina, you're my best friend, and gives her a big hug.
mm,
And
mm.
Christina's like, on the other, she's like, I don't know if we can ever be friends again.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
which is so good. She's really like, what is it she says earlier about Dolly?
Well, she's trying to put
Uh,
herself first now, isn't she?
yeah,
She's kind of saved Anya, or she's going off with Blake, and she's like,
yeah.
no, I'm putting myself first. I've been through too much shit.
Yeah. Oh, this is it. Christina felt that Dolly just was not interested in her anymore. They were no longer friends, just two people with a history who are now living in the same building. Like,
Mm,
it's so good.
yeah,
But then at the very end, after she's like, I don't know if we can be friends again, she thinks it. She's like, the Shevvingtons had gotten away with everything, but I'm
mm,
alive. Dolly's not been hurt. Anya is sane. Blake is back. I fought a good war, but I didn't win.
yeah.
The enemy is still on the battlefield, still teaching, still running a school, still living at Schooner Lane. The Shevvingtons would start again. It would never end. And on the one hand, that's
Oh,
very like, the end, question mark, dun, dun, dun. On the other
yeah.
hand, Caroline Cooney really sells it.
Mm,
Like, I remember being a kid and being like, feeling like some things were relentless. Like,
yeah.
the horror wasn't that the teacher humiliates you in class and makes you look stupid in front of
Mm,
everyone and gives you homework you don't understand. It's the fact they're going to do it tomorrow. and the
Yeah.
next day
Yeah.
and the next day. And this feeling of, I mean, I remember lots of fourth and fifth and sixth grade just feeling
Mm.
total despair
Yeah.
that I was in a bad situation where it would never end.
Mm.
And I think that's so great. On the one hand, it's like really overwrought and melodramatic, but on the other hand, it's like, yeah, that's how you feel.
Yeah. No, definitely. And also as well, I was really frustrated with myself when I got to the end of this book, because I went back and read the last couple of chapters again, because by the time I got to the end, I don't know, I doubted Christina, and I was like, I felt so ashamed of myself.
What,
I need to go
what
and
did
sit
you
in a
doubt her
corner.
on?
Well, I don't know. I found all of a sudden, I found like the bit when the police turn up and then Mr. Shevvington saying what he did to the police. I was like, is this all going to be that Christina is just dramatic and the Shevvingtons are
You
actually
believe the
okay?
Shevvingtons.
I don't know. I was ashamed.
Shelley.
But when I reread the last couple of chapters, I was like, no,
Yeah.
no, I need to convince myself out of that.
Wow.
There was just a
The
brief
Shevvingtons
moment. The
got to you.
Shevvingtons got to me, yeah. And I was like,
Oh,
no, this can't be happening.
yeah. Well, one of the most gratifying parts of the book is the briefcase stealing, because it's the one time when the Shevvingtons are on their back foot. Like Mr. Shevvington wants that briefcase. That is
Yeah.
not funny to him. He can't do anything to her in front of the school board members who keep showing up. Like, it's the one time when he's not getting away with
Mm.
something that's so small but so satisfying.
Yeah. I just saw Sharon said, I totally started to think maybe the Shevvingtons were good and also doubted Christina. But that's the power of the writing, I think. It got to us.
You
How
guys,
could
the
it?
Shevvingtons are gaslighting you through the
Yeah.
pages of the book.
Oh,
Oh
and
my goodness.
April said the same as well. I did the same thing. I was like, no way Cooney would do that to us.
Okay, I'm just going
Wow.
to say for the record, I never doubted Christina once. I believed in her all the way. And there were times when I really did think, because this book, more than the first book, if memory serves, there's more talk of putting Christina in an
Yeah,
institution. Like a
definitely.
lot more. They mention it once, I think, in the first, but this is like, I mean, at one point, Blake's like, they are going to send you to an institution right now
Mm,
unless you get your shit together. And she manages to do it,
yeah,
barely. Um, but like
definitely.
the Shevingtons, like, to me, I really did think that's where the book was going to end up, with
Mm,
her being sent off to an institution. Like, Dolly would be safe, but Christina's yarned too much and is going to be sent
mm.
away.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was going to end, definitely. And I just saw Billy said as well, I was almost Team Shevington. I'm glad it wasn't just me. I was really like harsh on myself. I was like,
Man, I
no.
despair of the human race right now. Like, I was never not on Christina's side. Like, 110%.
Rogers put the Shevingtons need throwing into the sea. Definitely.
I mean,
But I know that. Oh, sorry. Go on.
no, it's just gonna say the Shevingtons are good at what they do, but they're so evil. And I gotta say, one thing this has taught me: if anyone has teeth like corn kernels, you can't trust them.
Or face like oatmeal, or
I know.
yeah.
I really wanna go as Mrs. Shevington for Halloween, where we just have an oatmeal
She's
bowl of
gonna do
oatmeal with
it.
corn kernels in it. Yeah, no one would understand.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. And then so I know one last question, because I
Oh
know
yeah.
that you've got to go, but I know you were such a fan of the fog and you hadn't read the snow before. So how does it compare to your love for the fog? Do you love it just as much?
And actually, I like it a little bit more
Mm,
because I like the fog a lot, but it's so relentlessly internal. And this
mm,
one actually has some more action set. You know, the stealing of the briefcase, the bit where she like almost like in the hall with Gretchen,
yeah.
the bit where she almost gets crushed under the bleachers, the ski trip,
The
Dolly
stakes
going
are
to,
higher,
yeah,
aren't
the
they?
stakes are higher.
Mm,
And so the situations are more complicated. And so seeing them get her into those situations and seeing the Shevingtons worm out of
mm,
consequences, like,
mm.
it's just, I feel like it's doing what a sequel should do,
Yeah,
you know? It's the aliens, the fog's alien.
yeah.
The first one's great, but this one is actually they make it bigger. They give it more scope. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. How'd you feel
No,
about it in comparison?
I feel exactly the same. Because I remember saying on the fog chat, I was like, I think that you would like the next two a little bit more than this one when you read them.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that you
Yeah.
did.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. I
Mm,
mean, I don't dislike the fog at all, but
no.
this didn't walk anything back. It gave me what I wanted, but gave
Mm,
it a bigger scale and
yeah.
higher stakes.
And because you'd already got those characters established, you just didn't need to like go into, all the background. I mean, we did hear about Christina's tricoloured hair about a million
Oh,
times again, but yeah.
I'd forgotten about her tricolored hair.
How could
Um,
you?
Christina's
Yeah.
forgettable. She's no Anya. She's not a beauty,
Oh dear.
as
Yeah,
she
Autumn
says so
said
often. Yeah.
Autumn said she enjoyed this one more as well. But yeah, Grady, I know that you've got to jump
Yeah,
off,
I'm
so
sorry, gotta dash, but yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm up for the fire. It
yeah.
might be a while, but I'm up. I gotta see how this ends.
Yeah, we've got to do it. I've got to do it. Um, from memory, when I read it before, I think it's a bit like, that's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, and
So,
the thing I'm worried about with the fire is I want to make sure it has an ending and it's not just like the Shevvingtons flying away to a new town. Like I want them
yeah.
to see justice,
I'm going to
Christina
keep.
justice. Yeah.
Not going to spoil anything this time.
All
Oh
right.
dear. All
Thanks for
right.
having me on. These books are
Oh,
fantastic. These
I
three,
know.
or
I
these two
really
out of
love
three so
them.
far.
I'll stay on. So if you want to go off, but do check out. Wait. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I dropped all my books then on the floor.
But especially part.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, Grady. Bye. Oh, thanks, guys. Sorry I missed so many of your comments as well. There was so much to chat about that happened in this book, honestly, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did because I think this series is absolutely great. And just shows Caroline B Cooney's writing like so well. But yeah, I do apologise that I missed so many of your fab comments, and I do appreciate you all joining in and reading along as well. Um, but yeah, and I did see your comment, Karen, about you wouldn't want to be invited. That would be like music to your ears. I love that. Um, Billy just put for the fire. We need to have a 3-hour session. Yeah, definitely. There'll be so much to unpack. So yeah, on the back of my copy of the fire, it says, "Will the evil win?" So will the evil win indeed? But yeah, we're definitely we'll have to do it. And Zelda's put, I already read The Fire this month to find out how it ended. I was too worried in case I gave spoilers. So I was like, no, I'll reread it. I might reread it now just to get it in my head ready. But yeah. Claire said we didn't even overly talk about her obsession with Blake and her back and forth with Jonah. Yeah, we did mention the Blake thing, but I think that maybe, she let Anya, is it Anya or Anya have him in the end? But Blake grew on me in this one, to be honest. But yeah, so thanks, guys. And what are we doing next month? We're doing The Fever next month by Diane Ho, which I saw, I think it was Dina. My Dina said Diane Ho's a good writer as well, and yeah, that's a crazy one, set in a hospital. And yeah, so Sharon's put they love describing the stairs in the inn. Yeah, the round stairs. Oh dear, I'd get like sickness going up them. Lisa said I was tempted to carry on with the fire. Really enjoyed the snow, so wanted to carry on. Yeah, I think I might give it a sneaky read actually. And Lisa said, love the fever. It's such a good one. I really liked it. There's one scene that sticks in my head for the fever that when we get to it, I'll share. It just makes me laugh. Oh, but yeah, thanks guys. And oh yeah, we got bonus next month. Thanks for reminding me, Sharon. So we're going to be doing Daughters of Eve by Lois Duncan, which I'm really excited about because I know it's April's favourite Lois Duncan book. And I've been loving rereading the Lois Duncan books. They've been so good. And just like Caroline B Cooney, I think her writing is just like, she's, you know, so much more than I know it did last summer, but some of her other books just amazing writing. So I'm really excited to read Daughters of Eve. I've been excited for that for ages now. The Mad Crochet said Dan, whose Nightmare Hall books are fun. Yeah, so we'll do another Nightmare Hall book in September as well. I think the next one is Guilty, I think, but you can read them in any order with the Nightmare Halls. It doesn't really matter. They don't follow on from each other. Yeah, so yeah, guys, I'm going to head off now and leave you all in peace to enjoy your evenings. And thank you for joining in. See you soon. Bye.